To today's daily cyber briefing. It is Thursday, the 1st of February, 8:30 a.m., and I am your host, Rich Benfield. I am covering for Stephen Ridgway, who unfortunately cannot make today's briefing. So, headlines today. A new malware emerges in attacks exploiting Ivanti VPN vulnerabilities. CISA warns of active exploitation of critical flaws in Apple iOS and macOS. Hackers push USB malware payloads via news and media hosting sites. Europecard denies a data breach of 50 million users and says the data is fake. And PornStorm's stealthy net NTLM v2 assault has been revealed. So, back to the top of it. So, a new malware emerges in attacks exploiting Ivanti VPN vulnerabilities. So, Google-owned Mandiant said it identified new malware employed by a China Nexus espionage threat actor known as UNC 5221 and other threat groups during post-exploitation activity targeting Ivanti Connect Secure VPN and Policy Secure devices. This includes custom web shells such as Bushwalk, Chainline, FrameSting, and a variant of Lightwire. Chainline is a Python web shell backdoor that is embedded in an Ivanti Connect Secure Python package that enables arbitrary command execution, the company said, attributing it to UNC 5221. Adding it also detected multiple new versions of Walkwire, a JavaScript-based credential stealer. The infection chains entail a successful exploitation of CVE 2023 46805 and CVE 2024 21887, which allow an unauthenticated threat actor to execute arbitrary commands on the Ivanti appliance with elevated privilege. Now, the flaws have been abused as 0 days since early December 2023. In fact, Germany's Federal Office for Information Security said it's aware of multiple compromised systems in their country. Okay, so Bushwalk, which is written in Perl and deployed by circumventing the Ivanti issued mitigations in highly targeted attacks, is embedded into a legitimate Connect Secure file named querymanifest.cgi and offers the ability to read or write to files to a server. On the other hand, FrameSting is a Python web shell embedded in an Ivanti Connect Secure Python package that enables arbitrary command execution. Mandiant's analysis of the Zipline passive backdoor has also uncovered its use of extensive functionality to ensure the authentication of its custom protocol used to establish command and control. Furthermore, the attacks are characterized by the use of open source utilities like LM-Packet, CrackMapExec, Iodine, and Enum for Linux to support post-exploitation activity on Ivanti CS appliances, including network reconnaissance, lateral movement, and data exfiltration within victim environments. So Ivanti have now since disclosed two more security flaws, CVE 2024 21888 and 21893, the latter of which has come under active exploitation targeting a limited number of customers. The company has also released the first round of fixes to address the four vulnerabilities. So UNC 5221 is said to target a wide range of industries that is just of strategic interest to China, with its infrastructure and tooling overlapping with past intrusions linked to China-based espionage actors. Okay, so that's not great. There's no mention of any patches there either. So if you are using Ivanti for your VPN, go and check it out and get yourself patched if there's anything available. Next, CISA warns of active exploitation of critical flaws in Apple iOS and macOS. So, the US Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, CISA, on Wednesday added a high severity flaw impacting iOS, iPadOS, macOS, tvOS, and watchOS to its known exploited vulnerabilities catalogue based on evidence of active exploitation. So, this is tracked as CVE 2022 48618. With a CVSS score of 7.8, and it concerns a bug in the kernel component. An attacker with arbitrary read and write capability may be able to bypass pointer authentication, Apple said in an advisory, adding the issue may have been exploited against versions of iOS released before 15.7.1. The iPhone maker said the problem was addressed with improved checks. It's currently not known how the vulnerability is being weaponized in real-world attacks. Interestingly, patches for this flaw were released on December the 13th, 2022, with the release of iOS 16.2, iPadOS 16.2, macOS Ventura 13.1, tvOS 16.2, and watchOS 9.2, although it was only publicly disclosed this year. And it's worth noting that Apple did resolve a similar flaw in the kernel back in 2022 with iOS 15.6 and iPadOS 15.6. So, yeah, basically the vulnerability is an app with arbitrary kernel read and write capability may be able to bypass point authentication. A logic issue was addressed with improved state management. So, in light of the active exploitation of CVE 2022-48618, CSER has recommended that federal civilian executive branch agencies, whatever they are, that's very much an American thing, apply the fixes by February the 21st. So chances are, I would imagine that most of you who are fairly diligent about this sort of thing will be well ahead of the curve on that one. It's strange how it's just come to light now via CSER. Anyway, moving on. Hackers push USB malware payloads via news and media hosting sites. So, a financially motivated threat actor using USB devices for initial infection has been found abusing legitimate online platforms, including GitHub, Vimeo, and Ars Technica, to host encoded payloads embedded in seemingly benign content. Well, this sounds remarkably old school, doesn't it? But let's carry on. The attackers hide these payloads in plain sight, placing them in forum user profiles on tech news sites or video descriptions on media hosting platforms. These payloads are no risk to users visiting these web pages as they are simply text strings. However, when integrated into the campaign's attack chain, they are pivotal in downloading and executing malware in attacks. The hackers responsible for this campaign are tracked by Mandiant as UNC 4990 and have been active since 2020, predominantly targeting users in Italy. So, the attack begins with victims double-clicking on a malicious LNK, that's a Windows shortcut file, if I remember rightly, on a USB drive. It's not known how the malicious USB drives make it to targeted victims to start the attack chain, but when the shortcut is launched, it executes a PowerShell script called Explorer.ps1, which in turn downloads an intermediary payload that decodes to a URL used to download and install a malware downloader named EmptySpace. These intermediary payloads are text strings that decode into a URL to download the next payload of EmptySpace. UNC 4990 has tried out several approaches to hosting intermediary payloads, initially using encoded text files on GitHub and GitLab, and later switching to abusing Vimeo and Ars Technica for hosting base64 encoded and AES encrypted string payloads. Mandiant notes that the attackers do not exploit a vulnerability in these sites, but simply employ regular site features, like an about page in Ars Technica forum profile or a Vimeo video description, to covertly host the obfuscated payload without raising suspicion. Well, that is sneaky, isn't it? And moreover, the threat actors benefit from those platforms' robust content delivery networks and enjoy resilience to takedowns. Well, I mean, fair play. It's bad, but you've got to appreciate the approach there. Embedding the payloads within legitimate content and mixing it with high volumes of legitimate traffic makes it more difficult to pinpoint and remove the malicious code. Even then, the attackers could easily reintroduce it on a different platform that supports publicly viewable comments or profiles. This is going to be tricky to stop, I feel. In the subsequent phases of the attack, EmptySpace downloads a backdoor named QuietBoard, as well as crypto coin miners that mine Monero, Ethereum, Dogecoin, and Bitcoin. The wallet addresses linked to this campaign have made a profit that surpasses $55,000, not accounting for Monero, which is hidden. QuietBoard is a sophisticated multi-component backdoor, offering a wide range of capabilities, including executing commands or scripts from the C2 server, executing Python code from C2, altering clipboard content for cryptocurrency theft, infecting USB drives to spread malware onto other systems, capturing screenshots, gathering detailed system and network information, and determining geographical location. So QuietBoard also establishes persistence across system reboots and supports dynamically adding new functionalities through extra modules. So Mandiant concludes that by underlining how UNC 4990 likes to conduct experiments with its campaigns to discover optimal pathways for its attack chain and refinement of its methodologies. Despite the seemingly straightforward prevention measures, USB-based malware continues to pose a significant threat and serve cybercriminals as an effective propagation medium. As for the tactic of abusing legitimate sites to plant intermediate payloads, this shows that threats can lurk in unexpected, seemingly innocuous locations, challenging conventional security paradigms. Next, Europcar denies data breach of 50 million users, says data is fake. So, car rental company Europcar says it's not suffered a data breach and that shared customer data is fake after a threat actor claimed to be selling the personal information of 50 million customers. On Sunday, a person claimed to be selling the data for 48,606,700 Europcar.com customers on a popular hacking forum. The post included samples of the stolen data for 31 alleged Europcar customers, including names, addresses, birth dates, driver's license numbers, and other information. However, after contacting Europcar last night, Bleeping Computer was told that the breach was fake and that the data was fabricated using AI. And this is what they said. After being notified by a threat intel service that an account pretends to sell Europcar data on the dark net and thoroughly checking the data contained in the sample, we are confident that this advertisement is false. They go on to list a few points around this, and they say the number of records is completely wrong and inconsistent with ours. The sample data is likely ChatGPT generated. Addresses that don't exist, zip codes don't match, first name and last name don't match email addresses. Email addresses are very unusual, top-level domains. And most importantly, none of these email addresses are present in our database. So, Have I Been Pwned? Troy Hunt explains, while much of the data is clearly fake, he does not believe it was created using AI. So, Troy said on Twitter, "All right, folks, this is starting to smell like bullshit. Not the alleged breach, which smells bad for reasons I'll explain in a moment, but the AI line from Europcar and the PR agency that just emailed me pitching someone's hot take on it." Okay, so check out Troy's Twitter feed to find out more about what he said there. He pointed out that email addresses do not match usernames. The second indicator that data is fake is that the addresses simply do not exist. And another indicator is that the addresses and phone numbers are for regions in the US, yet many of the associated emails are for other countries. Okay, so interesting piece of news, but genuinely doesn't look real. And the last item on today's list is PawnStorm's stealthy net NTLM v2 assault revealed. PawnStorm, that's PAWN, an advanced persistent threat actor known as APT28, has been targeting high-value entities globally, employing a range of techniques since at least 2004. Despite relying on seemingly outdated methods like decade-old phishing campaigns, the group continues to compromise thousands of email accounts. According to an advisory published today by Trend Micro, the group has recently been involved in NTLM v2 hash relay attacks, attempting to brute force its way into government, defense, and military networks worldwide. Between April 2022 and November 2023, PawnStorm reportedly focused on launching NTLM v2 hash relay attacks targeting government departments dealing with foreign affairs, energy, defense, transportation, and various other sectors. The group was active in Europe, North America, South America, Asia, Africa, and the Middle East. It demonstrated persistence by modifying folder permissions in victims' mailboxes, enabling lateral movement. PawnStorm has enhanced its operational security in recent years, gradually changing its tactics. Brute force credential attacks on mail servers and corporate VPN services have been common since 2019. Excuse me. In recent years, the group has also employed anonymization layers like VPN services, Tor, compromised Edge OS routers, and various free services such as URL shorteners. The use of anonymization layers extends to spear phishing emails sent from compromised email accounts accessed over Tor or VPN exit nodes. So a CVE 2023-23397, which was patched in March 2023, allowed PawnStorm to conduct hash relay attacks on Outlook users. Exploiting this flaw, the group sent malicious calendar invites triggering the NTLM hash relay attack. The campaign extended to August 2023, evolving with more elaborate methods, including scripts hosted on Mockbin and URLs redirecting to PHP scripts on free web hosting domains. So their diversification includes using a WinRAR vulnerability, that's CVE 2023-38831 for hash relay attacks, a credential phishing campaign in late 2023 targeting European governments utilizing webhook URLs and VPN IP addresses. And they've also employed information stealers without a C2 server. Very crude but effective method involves uploading stolen files to a free file sharing service using shortened URLs for access. In the Trend Micro advisory, Hackboard and Mercies warned that PawnStorm remains aggressive despite its 2-decade history, adapting loud and aggressive tactics alongside advanced and stealthy methods. Network defenders are urged to leverage indicators of compromise provided in the research to bolster their security against PawnStorm's persistent threats. And I'm assuming that the MITRE ATT&CK framework will have been updated since 2022 and 2023 to cover off these methods from APT 28. Okay, so that is all of the headlines run through for this morning. Hope it's been useful. Have a great day. And normal service with Stephen will resume tomorrow, hopefully. Thank you. Goodbye.